I'm Cindy Mosier. In January of 17, on that day I was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, for which they told me it could be managed with medication. And as the days and weeks went on, as the biopsy was taken, as all the results came in, it was said that I was at least halfway through the process of a dying liver. So it became evident I was going to need a new liver. We went on to the Cleveland Clinic. We started the process there to be qualified for a liver, which is a grueling process. I went through the physical and was put on the list. At that point, they told me about a way to do it quicker, and that way is called a living donor, that somebody would donate, and it's a portion of their liver to you, and just a portion to you will save your life. They told me how important it would be that I go out and find that person myself, which is a daunting task. How do you walk up to somebody and say, give me part of one of your major organs? I just thought it was not going to happen. But of course I put regulations on that, and I limited my God's working when I did that, because I said to my children, you will not be the donor. I cannot live with the fact that something went wrong with you and that I would have to live knowing that I was the cause of that.
As I was sitting there listening, I'm thinking, she doesn't want any of us kids to be a donor, but that seems pretty silly. But I let her go through that week of the testing and the process.
Your best chance of having a donor match is your child. They have the same makeup as you do. My Heather, being adopted, probably in the medical field's eyes, was not the best choice for any of us, but God knew.
So I said to the two people, without Mom knowing, I'm going to, when we get home, I'm going to call and put myself on the list. There was really no uncertainty about it. Once God put it into my heart, there was no fear, there was no uncertainty. It just was, okay, if this is what you want me to do, then you're going to open the doors, and I'm going to be the match. I'm going to be qualified to do it.
And when that was all said and done, Heather was the perfect
Our livers matched up. In fact, for my frame, I had a little bit of a larger liver, so then I was able to give a larger portion than normal.
God had all these plans in mind, to have your own child say, I'm going to give you a part of myself. And having Heather being our adopted child, that I never doubted that she was the baby for us, that God had for us. God knew that this child was going to provide for us. I was walking through a room that Heather was in right after she said she was going to be a donor, and she said to me, Mom, you know what I thought? I thought, finally, I'm going to be flesh of your flesh, and you're going to be flesh of my flesh. God, in His great mercy and grace towards us, allows us to know some of His plans along the way. I know undoubtedly some of His plans. I don't know it all, and I don't know what the future's going to bring through her and His plan, but I know He's got one, and I know He's been working. As the process goes on, we have the donor, we have the recipient getting iller. Days became very difficult before the surgery, but then the day came, and we proceeded to the Cleveland Clinic. I remember hearing a bed being pushed down the hallway, and I heard Heather say, "Stop, that's my mom." And the nurse stopped, or the transport person stopped, and we got to talk just before they took her into the surgery suite. When they took her liver, that same person, after it was split, brought it in and put it in me. It was like a symphony of work that went on in those. For Heather, it was 8 hours. For me, it was 12 hours. I was told it would be a year, possibly 2, before I really felt normal again. I can tell you at 3 months, I was beginning to feel normal again. And I'm at 6 months, and I've had to deal with some rejections, but I'm feeling, all except for strength, I'm feeling as better than I did before, because I'm living my life any room I want to live it in. And it's amazing. It's amazing. About a month and a half out, I had my first rejection. I also had very high bilirubin, which it's kind of like a substance that gets between the layers of your skin, and you itch. And you itch. I mean, you itch everywhere. And doesn't matter how much you itch, you still itch. Nothing satisfies the itch. They have some medications, they don't touch you. They don't work. And the day that I said to the doctor, what am I going to do? I mean, I was frantic. I said, I don't know how much more of this I could take. I said, Lord, I don't know how I'm even going to get through the night. But if I can't have physical rest because of the itching and the side effects, I want to rest in you. Will you give me rest tonight in you? I turned on my phone. I found Moody Majesty Radio, and I put that phone under my pillow, and I laid down and I said, okay, Lord, I'm ready. And he began to minister to me from the time I was 11 years old and accepted him as my Savior, and he brought songs on Majesty Radio that reminded me of his goodness towards me at 11. And then my life progressed through the night when my family split up. I mean, really split up, and I had to be out on my own at an early age. He brought songs from that area to say, I was faithful then, I was faithful then. And then he brought me to this experience where at the beginning I really was facing, okay, this is it, I'm going to go home to be with the Lord. However, that's what you say in your spirit and in your humanness. You're saying, but I want to see my grandchildren grow up. I want to continue to have Bible studies. I want to continue to minister to whomever you bring into my life, Lord. And you fight it, and you fight it. And during that night, I just laid that all on the altar. And I said, I saw Calvary in a different way. I saw the cross of suffering that my Savior went through, and I said, Lord, you did all of that because of your great love for me, and I say this one time is going to do me in? No. All of the suffering only identifies me more with the cross of Christ, and therefore I surrender. I surrender. The door opened. It was 5 a.m. It was the person to draw my blood, and she said, how was your night? And I was wet all night long, and she said, are you upset? And I said, oh no, these are tears of joy. I said, I've been with Jesus all night long. And she took my blood, and she left the room, and I know she thought I was crazy, but the Lord had ministered to me in a way I would have never known if not for cirrhosis of the liver, if not for that experience. God said, I am as faithful to you as when you were 11. I am as faithful to you when you were childless couple, and I brought you the child I had for you. I am as faithful to you as I've been through this surgery, orchestrating every move, orchestrating every answer to prayer. And I have heard the cries of your heart, and I have heard the prayers of your warriors that have prayed for you night and day, week after week and month after month. I have heard, and I have answered. I came home with a new attitude. I came home with a mission to make him known even more. In the hard times and in the good times, it's all about his faithfulness. He is faithful when we are not. Pastor Tim's last sermon before I went in the hospital talked about the goodness of God. He is good all the time. And many times I hung on to that, saying, this is good. Itching is good. And it was good because it led me closer to him.